Hi everyone, this is Shotzi for the Rough Cuts on Sunday. I hope you all had a great week. And for all of you out there who are mothers, happy Mother's Day to you as well. This week I'm going to try to make this pretty short because I have to make a tres leches cake for today for Sunday. And also still in the process of moving, so things are really crazy right now. Anyway, the movie I'm going to review this week is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. It's from 1990 and directed by Tom Stoppard. Some of you might be familiar with his work because he also wrote Shakespeare in Love. And this movie is starring Tim Roth, Gary Oldman, and also Richard Dreyfuss. Now, I'm going to start out by saying that if you're not familiar with Hamlet, you really either need to read Hamlet or go out and watch a play if it's playing in your town currently, or watch the movie because there are several cinematic renditions of it. Let me think who's played it. Mel Gibson has played Hamlet, Kenneth Branagh, also Laurence Olivier, and I'm sure a number of others, but those three come to mind, and they're really good renditions of it. In the play Hamlet, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, you're not really sure who is who because their characters aren't very well developed. They're very minor characters in Hamlet, but they're very significant characters. And because Hamlet, those of you who are familiar with it, it's really a tragic play about revenge. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are really integral to Hamlet's being able to act out his revenge. In this movie, they're the whole focus of the movie. And it's almost sort of like a backstory of who they could be as people. And it really is a story about if we're in control of our own destiny or if it's predetermined. Also, questions and answers. Which is more important, the questions or the answers? And is there really any significance to living? Because in Hamlet, you learn, yes, there is a significance to being alive. In this movie, it's just kind of like there really isn't one because everything is predetermined. Now, some people may hate this movie. Actually, I think Roger Ebert gave this like a 0. And other people love this. When I first saw this movie is when I was in high school and we just gotten finished reading Hamlet. And I know that all of the pseudo-intellectuals loved this movie. They'd quote from it all the time. It drove me nuts because I can only be around that type of personality for so long. And of course, after watching this, they would constantly talk about it and it drove me absolutely crazy. So I had a lot of animosity towards this movie. But on Netflix, it's on Instant Watch. And Brian is the one who rates everything. He told me not to rate anything on there, so I don't. And so for his suggestions, this was given, I think, 4.5 stars for him. And so he's like, okay, fine, we'll watch this. And he was homeschooled, so it was never required for him to read Hamlet. So he wasn't familiar with Hamlet at all, but he still really enjoyed this movie. He described it as Brazil meets Who's on First, basically. And he was confused at some parts, and some parts of it are really confusing because the whole plot is very absurd. So if you like absurdity, you'll love this. You'll absolutely love this. But if you're easily distracted, you may not watch this movie and enjoy it, but that came out completely wrong. You might not enjoy this movie because you really have to pay attention to the dialogue and what's going on. But Gary Oldman and Tim Roth, if you've seen them in anything, you know that they play really well off of each other. And that is very important to this. And they do it so extremely well. Everything is really well acted. So the acting's amazing. But you have to pay attention to what's going on because you might miss something. And everything that they show in this is really important. So I recommend watching this movie if you like Shakespeare. Also, if you like thinking about certain things, questioning, like what's the meaning of life? Is life worth living? And thinking about destiny. So a lot of philosophy is in this. Also, if you like Hamlet, you'll probably enjoy this. But if you get bored easily, because it starts out pretty slow, this movie, and it's almost 2 hours long. If you get bored easily, or if you're completely unfamiliar with Hamlet, you don't like Shakespeare, or if you've read Hamlet and you hated it, yeah, don't watch this. But otherwise, I recommend it. It's entertaining, and like with Brian, even if you're not familiar with the story of Hamlet at all, it's still enjoyable because there are a lot of parts in it that are just, they're pretty funny. So, if that. These are getting worse and worse by the week. Anyway, I have got to get going, and I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.